First of all, we're just going to talk a little bit about getting your image onto the paper. Now, I am using today the 24 by 30 size piece of paper. I'm using grey not for any particular reason, but just it's a colour I had in a new pad. It's not one I've actually used before, and I thought I would try it. But I have also done this, and it works really well, on a smaller size, on the 18 by 24 pastel mat. But I find, particularly if I'm trying to get my image onto it, that an A4 fits nicely into this size. And I have a choice of either tracing. Now this is proper tracing paper. This is a photograph, and this is greaseproof paper, which isn't brilliant, but if all you want to do is get the outline of the boat accurate, it just about gives you enough to work with. So it's a bit of a cheaper option, and if you haven't got tracing paper to hand, that's a help. I am going to trace mine today, but before I do, I'm going to show you how I would do it if I didn't have tracing paper. And I've already sent you the gridded photograph, but the simplest way of doing it, because this is an A4 photo print, I would literally grid this out, but only where the boat is. And you can see that if I grid it on this photo, and just put a tiny little mark on the paper, I can kind of grid it exactly where I want. So look, the top of the boat here, the front of the boat, and it will allow me to get everything in accurately. I can even do all of the spines of the boat. I'm going to come down to the bottom of the boat here. These angles can be difficult to get in. So let's say I'm going to put this one in here, and then that will allow me, with my paper, to get it more accurate. And then I would do the same that way. Does that make sense? So that, in fact, you can't see my lines across here. Let me show you. So my lines will run right across my picture. There we are. And they will just touch on the paper so that I can see exactly where my drawing needs to be. And I would just then, that was the front of the boat, I would just then draw my lines on that little bit of my pastel matte paper so that I can easily see where my boat should go. That's the bottom of the boat. And then what I would probably do is maybe fold this up a little bit. Oh, in fact, I probably have enough. No, I do have enough paper. So here and here, that's the edge of the boat. Just touch that bit of the paper. I can see. That's where the prow or boat is. That's where it ends up over here. So it's got a slight angle to it. I'm marking in the key places, and then that makes it so much easier for me then to do it gridded out. And then what I would do is I would use a very fine pencil, and I would just grid my paper the same, so that I know when I come to draw it, the prow is on this line, etc., etc. So I hope that makes sense for people.